Welcome back, y'all.
Welcome back to Neil RC, guys. Thank you again for coming back and hanging out with us. This is going to be a really cool video. I am going to make sure that everything is working properly here, and I am going to slide you down just a little bit. There we go, because this one here isn't quite so big. We don't need quite as much room with everything. So anyway, this is one of my wife's rigs. That's what I'm saying about this. Okay, y'all? It is a SCX gone crazy. That's how I'll explain this. SCX 10.3 went berserk. That's how I'll explain this. It's a multi-purpose vehicle. It drives around fairly stiff right now. She hasn't ran this thing in a very, very long time. Could she pull with this in a class? Yes, she sure could. Yep, and she would probably have a crawler puller at this point. Not that it would do much. Mind you, she would probably get her butt handed to her, freely handed to her, but it is a crawler on 2.2 wheels. I do believe they are on Maxxis Troubadour AX 122 or 120 22. Yeah, 12022 is the stock number on it. It's a 2.2 by 5.5. 5.5 inches tall tire, and those tires are cooked. There's not a lot of grip to these tires. I'm going to say that right now. They are over their age limit. The tires are shot. She uses them basically to run across the grass, whatever. They're stiff. There's no stickiness to them. They're glassed over. It's almost like she's done burnouts with this thing. Okay? In all reality, those tires have seen better days. She does have some 2.2 rims on this that are very, very pink in color. They may be on the verge of being purple, a light purple, but they are pink. Running on portal axles, to say the least. She's got a body on this thing here, like so. It is a Traxxas body, because she wanted a truck body, so I had to work my magic in between to make it mount. Yeah. You ever taken two models, two different breeds of vehicles, and made it one? Yep. Welcome to my world. This is it. This is the tip of my iceberg right here. I have done it in this model. I have taken parts and pieces of everything you can think of and made it work. I have done things to this vehicle that things should not be done to, in my opinion. Okay? And I'll explain to you this as we go. So, yeah. Traxxas body. For probably the last vehicle that you just seen me do. Now, the understory here. Wife wanted a truck. She wanted a truck to pull a trailer. She wanted a truck to pull the trailer so that she could have something for the show and shine. Well, my wife's new to the hobby. She's not been in it much. She's only been in it since about 2017, 2019, somewhere in that ballpark. She hasn't been in it long. And she wanted to have something different. Cool. Got no problem with that. No problem with that at all. So we went ahead and I started throwing shit together. Excuse my French, but that's what I did, is I threw stuff together. Found a electronics tray to hold the first ESC that actually runs the vehicle. I've got a second ESC here that runs the winch on her remote. It is running a 35 turn Tekin motor, brushed motor in the back of this rig. Yep, you heard me back. You heard me right. These back wheels, they don't turn. The motor sits back here. The front actually steers where the winch is, right here. So yeah, welcome to my crazy mix-up. And I'm going to show you how I did it. Amazon had a special on these motor differential gear setups. As you can see, I'm going to try and balance this out. The motor mounts to this transmission piece, and it comes off of a drive shaft that you would run to another, I guess you want to say, a diff house, diff casing, differential, and then that separates so you can have a drive axle coming up here to the rear, and then have one coming up here to the front, going the opposite direction, moving at the same pace. Does it work? Yes, it does. It works very well. Very smooth. Capable of doing whatever she wants to do with it. It's got plenty of low end torque because of the gear differential in here, plus the gear differential down here, and then on top of that, the pumpkins for the center drive axles down below. Between that and the tires, and only running 2 and 3S on it, yep, it's capable of doing every bit of that. It's a simple on and off. Controls this. This controls the winch. This right here, these wires that off of this XL5 run into the receiver box that is powered by this, and allows her to turn on and off by remote, on the remote itself that she runs this with, to operate the winch. Lets the wire out, lets the cable out, or the string out in this case, the rope, lets it pull out, lets it pull in, and she even has extra chain here, and I believe that chain is somewhere right around 3 foot long. Yeah, it's long. It's probably 2 foot, 2.5 foot long. It's monstrous on how long that rope or the chain is. She can really reach out and grab a hold of something. It is a dual motored, I believe it's a dual motored. Nope. It is a single motor winch. It is a single motored winch on this. It is not dual motored. So she can run the winch line out so far, hook her chain up to each side of the front tow hooks, put her winch line onto that, and pull it back evenly. That's what that's for. If it's too far out, okay, that's what that's designed for. It is a high center, a very high sitter up here. It does come down and lay the battery tray, kind of comes down and taps the servo to the battery tray. There are no wires running through there, I don't believe. And if there isn't going to hurt nothing. And they do come down, because they don't come down that hard. They come down fairly simple. They even crunch down that far. I think the shocks bottom out before that happens, to be honest with you. It has the same shocks, front and rear. The shocks on this thing, if I'm not mistaken, look like they came off of an old Associated vehicle at one time or another, to be honest with you. They may have been an old Traxxas model, I can't remember. The back ones are Traxxas, I know that, but those front ones, they look like they came off of something set up for racing, like a GT10 or something like that. Yeah, I forgot what they came off of, but they work. They work really good on this. I ain't complaining. I do need to change the end on this receiver though, or ESC, because I'm still running this one. So that may be a project here in the near future, because I did get a whole bunch of new ends for these things here not too awful long ago. So that is always a possibility, and getting that done up. Lord knows it probably needs it. It needs to get a blue end like this, especially if she decides to run anything bigger than the 2S in it and 3S. Well, she can't, because the ESC won't let her. The ESC shuts down after you hit anything over, I think it's like 5,600 mAh. 3S battery. It gets overheated and it shuts itself off immediately. It does run the C-channel frame all the way through off of an SCX 10.3. It is running on a skid plate of an SCX 10.3. 10.2. Yeah, 10.2. 10.2, because it's got the differential. I was able to get the differential mounted to it. It does have an overdrive, underdrive differential on this, and I don't have it on anything other than the regular straight drive. It's running just what it is on the front, on the back, or whatever it's running on the back is running in the front. As far as the servo on this, all the markings on that servo are gone. It is a gray cased servo. That's all I've got for you on that one. It does have a metal horn on it, like everything else we have. Couldn't tell you the broadest hair. That's why we don't put anything bigger than probably a 3S in it, so it will handle, the servo will handle it. Hot Racing shock links, or shock pole mounts that came off of a crawler that I had off the Honcho. It does have the Traxxas body mounts bolted to that and screwed to that for holding. In case you haven't noticed, they actually have cable, or the ties up here, little pull pins. And yeah, that's how I fastened these down, so that you could actually mount the said body to it. Pretty clever. Yep, pretty clever indeed. Yep, this old boy, he still thinks of ideas and how to come up with something. And yes, they're both facing inward so that I could get the proper lineup on the amounts of the body, so I didn't have to go through all new holes. That was a key factor. The wiring is ran down through the chassis as much as possible, and then it's kind of looped back up and around back here to the front so that it can be ran into here. It does have its lights wired through a separate end here, so that she can have her light bar on the front. And I think this also has, yes, it does have lights in the front bumper, so that makes it good for her there. It's just a simple quick run WP. I believe that's maybe a Hobbywing. I know it's a quick run crawler. It's a Hobbywing run by, I guess you want to say, but it's a quick run. Yep, it's a quick run WP crawler, brushed ESC. That's all there is to it. It also has, like I said, the Blue XL5 operating the winch. That runs off of a separate battery that comes from back here also. I can actually stick it here on the tray and have it mounted there so that it's right there, depending on what I decide to do or what she plans on doing with it. I also have a second spot here for the battery mounting up here in the very front, that I can put it right here in between. Put a little 3S battery on that, and that has more than enough power to run that one winch for power wise and holding power. The portal axles are front and rear. They are an old style portal, an older style portal center drive. I still have parts for this here for these axles, so that if something gets broke, I can more or less just change out the whole piece, a little bitty piece, an end, the whole center differential piece here I can change out. It all comes apart in several different pieces. I even have other skid plates here for them. Like I said, I've used these axles quite a bit. You can even clock the axles on these forward and back a little bit if you so choose to match up with your frame, get better steering angle, whatever. You can actually clock these things. You can actually loosen up your screws here in the front, and I'll try and show you here. I don't know how to do this, but right here underneath the steering servo arm right here and the linkage, there's a bolt. You pull that out with a 2.5 and a nut driver on the bottom. You pull that nut and bolt out. You'll slide this whole rod out, and then you're able to turn it and then put it back in on the separate teeth. Put your bolt back in, tighten everything back up, and now you've clocked your front end and rear end, or at least your front end. Your rear end does the same thing. It's a whole lot easier. You don't have as much in the way. As you'll see here, there's the screw that goes all the way through. You'll loosen that up, pull that all the way out, grab your axle, push it all the way out to the side, line it up to the hole you want, get it to line back up into your drive cup, and then recenter it. Now you're centered back the way you want, and you can do that to either side. Real simple. In case you want to have clocked rear end so that you can actually have them set out like this, or set like this, or like this, or like that. It all depends on how you want to do it. So you can clock them in and out. Because sometimes your drive angles it comes from your pumpkin, your center pumpkin, and up is so much that if you clock them, it straightens that angle up a little bit, so you're not got such a steep angle on your transfer case to your axle down below. That's what they're designed for, my opinion. I don't know what else more to say. It's aluminum bumpers. This don't have a bumper in the back at all. It does have the tow bar to tow her trailer that she has. Battery up front, motor in the back. Yes, I said that right. Steering axle here. These back ones don't steer, y'all. Electronics here in the center. Winch up front. Good long chain, plus the long rope. It is almost full on the rope, which gives her, I think it's somewhere in the ballpark about 6 foot of pulling. 5 foot anyway. 5 foot of pulling. It's longer than I am, and I'm 6 foot, so I'm just saying. You know, I kind of, other than that, that's what it is. Very basic, very cheap. I don't think this vehicle itself cost me anything more than just the bumper. I had the spare winch. I had the electronics for it all. I had to get her an ESC. I had to get her a rear tow hitch. No, I didn't have to even get her a tow hitch. I had everything else here. The frame and everything else. The only thing I had to do is basically a bumper. Yeah, because I had everything else here. I had this set up for one of my other crawling vehicles, is what I had this set up for, along with that same transfer case, except for mine was reversed. This motor actually went in front. The battery tray and everything went back here on that bar that kind of slopes down a little bit in the back, or in the front here. I had that actually mounted there instead, and then the transmission was the differential high and low what's the word I'm looking for, guys? I'm blah. But anyway, there's a differential there, and it gives you your two options of having 1-to-1 or a gear down. And I've got everything set to the 1-to-1. It runs off the motor back to here, and then both axles run off the center, where if I wanted a little gear down, I could put it to this outer ring out here, and the back or the front end would gear up to make the rear end dig more. The front end would dig more because it's going faster. The rear end would slow down more because it's still in that 1-to-1 stage. That's how I'll deal with that. And that's the way it works. That's all there is to it. It's dirty. It's dusty. She hasn't played with it in a long time. I think she's picked this up and carried it to more places than it has been played with. So, yeah. There's that. It does operate. It operates very well. It drives very well. Does kind of lean to one side still because of whatever it is. It may be because of the long shocks. It may be because of the way the motor twist rate is. But it does have a certain lean to it when she's running it. But it's not bad. It really isn't. You hook a trailer to it and she just yips up and goes. Like I said, though, the tires are cooked. This one ain't quite so bad, but yeah, they're starting to crack. Yep, they're starting to crack. Not like they're falling apart or anything, but these back ones, there was a back one here. Yeah, that one right there. This one isn't too, is just about as bad, but they are slick. Okay, there is no grip in any of these tires other than grass and maybe some sand paddles. That's about it. I wouldn't try putting it on any kind of rock. I think it'd just do a whole lot of bouncing and not a whole lot of getting up and going because the rubber's just so hard caked. So there you go. There's my wife's crawler version. Tow truck, pull truck, get her out of the ditch truck, trailer truck, whatever you want to make it, truck, pink, girly, truck. Yep, that's what this is. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for stopping by and checking us out here at Neela RC. We will see you next week with another beautiful video. I have, as of right now, I've got 2 more videos I have to do for this to get these, the ones that I have, done. Okay? Then it's content making time. It's all about making content every Sunday and every Wednesday. Right now, every Wednesday, I am got a video coming out every Wednesday as much as I possibly can. Yes, there are probably going to be days I miss it. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize now. I work a full-time job, 50, 60 hours a week. I don't have time to create content when I'm at work and I get home, and I'm not getting home until after dark. Yes, you heard me that right. I don't get home until after dark. I leave in the dark, I come home in the dark. So all the content that I get to make is usually on the weekends. So that's going to be at least 2 videos on the weekends. One for the Sunday video, one for the Wednesday video that has to be made. Hopefully the weather is nice for those days so that I can make those content videos. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. You'll see it. It'll sit, yeah, let me get this right. Down here. Right down here, woohoo, right over here, you'll see the little bell notification, and over here, right there, you'll see that little subscribe button. Okay, you go down there and you'll hit that subscribe. That'll pull up a menu, hit all notifications, and then you'll come down here, right down here, you'll hit that thumbs up button that you like the video, and then right there next to that thumbs up button, you'll go ahead and hit that comment section for me. If you're not watching on a TV, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you're not watching on a TV, I love watching RC content on my TV too, and I do. But at the same time, I watch, or I have the video on, I pause it, or let it play without the volume up to match the video that's going on in the screen. And as they are asking for comments, I'll go down here to leave the comment while I watch it on the big screen. They still get 2 views. One channel is what they're getting the views from, but they're getting 2 views because you're watching it on your phone and the TV, which is still pulling from the same video. Think about that for a second. Yep. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button right over, there, right over there. Yep, right over there. Get my hands working right. Right over there, hit that subscribe button. Go over here, hit the thumbs up and the comment button right next to it over there. Be greatly appreciated. And we'll see you back next week. with the next video. Neil RC, we're signing out. You all have fun. Go out and have some RC and fun. I'm going to try sometime this weekend if this weather clears out. Right now it's cold. Cold, 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 cold weather. I mean cold. Me and cold don't get along. That's why I moved down here to Louisiana. There's your clue. Yep, have a good one. Pay attention to those intros and outros. I've changed things up. These videos are going to have those new intros, outros. Make sure you watch them.